This is the F160 Raiju, which is now the fastest flying vehicle available in Grand Theft Auto Online. In today's video, we're going to be seeing just the extent of how fast this jet is, and we're also going to be seeing its dogfighting capabilities. Is this the new best jet in the game? Well, in today's video, I should hopefully be able to answer all of your questions. The first thing I wanted to start off with was the top speed of this jet. As you can see, we are very, very high up in the sky. You can't even see Los Santos below us, although we can see a little slight sliver of the military base. Just flying at level speed, we can see that I'm going 234 miles per hour. That is very fast. For example, the Pyro, which was the previous fastest jet, would fly at a top speed of around 222 miles per hour. So this is faster than the Pyro just on flat ground. But if you tilt this plane at a slight downhill gradient, that is when the true speed starts to come into hand. We can see I'm already going at 290, over 300 miles per hour now. Still going 310, 320, oh, still going 330. As you can see, we are flying ridiculously fast, now upwards of 340 miles per hour. And this is what the Pyro can do if you just give it a slight downhill gradient. Once you keep it at a level like this, you can stay over 300 miles per hour for a very long time until you get to a certain altitude where your jet's going to slow down to about 180. That is incredibly fast. I mean, we were literally at the center of the city, and just in about 30 seconds, we are now across the entire map. It showcases just how ridiculously fast the F160 Raiju is. To do a comparison, we have the Pyro, which was the previous fastest jet available in Grand Theft Auto Online. Let's see how fast we can get the Pyro to go. We are currently at 200 miles per hour, and you can see just how much slower this jet's acceleration is. Still going, 210... Yep, 211, and just like that, we are already basically at our top speed. I mean, we can get faster, but we're going to have to sit here for a very, very long time. 218, 219, 220. Now, if we tilt the Pyro at a slight downhill gradient, just like the Raiju, we're going to start picking up speed once again. But that's it. I mean, look at how much slower the Pyro is compared to the Raiju. The Raiju at this same downhill gradient would be flying at around 300 miles per hour at this point. Even tilting the Pyro down vertical almost, we are still not even scraping 270 miles per hour yet. It showcases just how much faster the Raiju is. 280, 290, come on, we can get there. There's your 300 mile per hour mark, and we are almost in the water already. So, tilting the Pyro at almost a probably 45, 50 degree angle downward, we were able to reach a top speed of over 300. Where the Raiju, we probably tilted it to about 20 to 25 degrees, and we reached 340. You can see just the absolutely massive speed difference these two planes carry already. And as I said, this is the second fastest plane in the game. The Pyro is fast, so the fact that the Raiju absolutely smokes the Pyro makes it by far the fastest flying vehicle and thing available in Grand Theft Auto Online. The first important thing about dogfighting is the weaponry that you feature, and this jet has two main weapons. You have missiles, just like the laser, the Hydra, and just about every other weaponized vehicle in the game. Unfortunately, these jets are not like the B-11 Strike Forces or the majority of planes where you can spam them. It's just 1, 2, and then you gotta wait about a 4-second cooldown before you can start shooting them again. But the saving grace is that this jet does feature an explosive MG, and as you can see, this explosive MG will absolutely bean on anything that it does hit. So it does have some very good strengths going for it, and that explosive MG is definitely one of them. Now that the laser and Hydra's explosive MGs were nerfed, it essentially means that this is tied with all the other explosive weaponry as the best in the game. So that's good. But the most important thing is how this jet flies compared to others in dogfights. At first glance, you might suspect that this jet would be the best at dogfighting due to its immense speed. But unironically, it's that speed that hurts the jet at dogfighting. Without actually pressing any gas, just holding my remote like this, I'm flying at a speed around 170 miles per hour. That is much faster than the majority of jets will fly even at their top speed at this height off the ground. The problem with that is when you're in a dogfight, dogfight, and you're trying to get behind the person that is trying to dogfight you, because you're going so fast, you turn at a much wider arc. And that is a major problem, especially for a jet like the B-11 Strike Force. The B-11 is the slowest flying jet in the game at low altitude. Once you actually get it up to high altitude, it's pretty fast, but at low altitude, I mean, you can see we're flying about as fast as a propellered plane. But that is actually a massive benefit to this jet in its dogfighting capabilities. And the reason is because it's so dang slow, it has an absolutely tiny turning radius. If we turn the plane sideways really quick, and you take a look at the minimap, look at how small my turning radius is. I mean, we're literally going 360s, and we're probably only going about maybe 100 feet apart on the entire loop. It is absolutely crazy just how fast this thing can do a circle. And if you compare this to a plane like the F160 Raiju that is taking these loops much, much larger because of the fact it's going so much faster, it actually hurts itself by doing that. I tested this with a friend, and we did a dogfight about back and forth 5 times. And we're both fairly good players when it comes to flying planes and dogfighting. We do it a lot just to mess around with what are the best. And I can tell you for a fact that if anybody is using an F160 Raiju and you've decided to pull out a B-11 Strike Force, you will win. As long as you understand how to use this plane, you will win the majority of dogfights with the B-11 for a numerous amount of reasons. First of all, the major thing, as I said, you have to worry about with the F-160 Raiju is that explosive MG. But because this plane is able to outturn the F-160, you don't have to worry about the explosive MG anymore because you're going to be on its tail at all times. Because of that, you more likely would have to worry about the missiles because the jet would try to fly away and then shoot missiles at you. But that's fine, you got flares. Not only that, but you can survive upwards to 4 missiles in this plane. So even if you do get hit once or even twice, you'll still be completely fine. You've got plenty of time to bail, and it's not even going to destroy your plane. The better part about the B-11 is that, unlike the Raiju, this has spamming homing missiles. You can see here you can just keep shooting them over and over and over, which means that if the F-160 Raiju does get in front of you, you can very easily just spam the missiles at it over and over and over, causing it to have to swerve from the missiles, and that is when you use your explosive MG to take it out of the sky. And I will say the explosive MG placement on the B-11 Strike Force is the best of all the planes, tied with the Hydra and the laser, because of the fact that it is dead center on the front of the plane, making it the easiest to actually hit your target with. The B-11 is just an absolutely amazing plane. As I said, I've messed with all the planes when it comes to dogfighting capabilities, especially with my friend, and the B-11 just absolutely smokes the Raiju. The main advantage you have in a jet like the Raiju is actually your stealth mode. When in stealth mode, you have the element of surprise, and that is really the only thing that's going to help you win dogfights with this jet. If you use your element of surprise and you get over to, let's say, I don't know, a pyro that you see griefing people, well, you can easily go off the radar with this jet, get right up to it, and then once you see it in your line of sight, instantly go out of stealth mode, boom, fire 2 missiles, and then use your explosive MG and try to take it out. That is about the best advice I can give you on how to deal with opponents when it comes to the F-160 Raiju. Apart from that, it's so fast that, as I said, it kind of hurts it in a lot of dogfights. Now, you can go into hover mode, but that's not really a great idea because, again, you don't have any flares on this plane. It's going to be very hard to dodge missiles in hover mode, and more specifically, it's going to be very hard to dodge explosive MG rounds. Hover mode is very nice if your plane gets hit by a missile, and I've actually had this happen quite a bit. If you're in a dogfight and the plane gets hit by a missile, hover mode will save you from crashing and burning to the ground. So what's the takeaway with the F-160 Raiju? When it comes to dogfighting, I actually wouldn't say this is the preferred choice. I would personally still stick with a vehicle like the B-11 Strike Force due to its much better cornering capabilities and much better missile barrages, better minigun placement, and most of all, more survivability due to its flares and just more explosion resistance. But that does not take away from the Raiju's other amazing aspects. It's much faster than any other plane in the game. It has a stealth mode, which means you can get the element of surprise, and it can hover, which allows it to land anywhere you need. So the F-160 Raiju is definitely a great plane. If you compare it to something like the Hydra, which is also a hovering jet, it absolutely smokes it in all terms of similar and likeness. So I can definitely say this is worth the price tag. If you plan on using a plane like this, especially for traversing the map, it's an absolute dub. But when it comes to dogfighting, I'd actually say that it's a good choice, but it's definitely not the best. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.